Hello and welcome to this tutorial. Thanks for stopping by. Please make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and please check out the description for discounts on online training courses. Also, please go to our website tutorialsxl.com for daily updated material on development. Now, in this tutorial, we will see how we can create an entire application with .NET. Now, let me just give you a brief. When we talk about entire application, we are talking about applications that have different layers that we through them separate our application, so it's be like more reusable, easier to use, and also more portable. Also, this way you will have a much better application structure that can sustain changes and updates in the long term. Now, from my experience, a correct application architecture, a correct application structure will save time, will save money, and it will make even like your work much easier. So now, we're gonna start first thing first with the basic tier, which is the entity tier, I'm gonna call it. Now, I'm gonna start by creating a class library. I'm gonna give the solution the appropriate name. So I'm gonna call this my entity project. Now, other can also call it like the core project, which contains your essential elements and items that you want to reuse. Now, after creating this, you will have the following inside the solution. I'm gonna just delete this class and I'm gonna head over to my core project and add entity. I'm gonna give it the student class. Okay. So now we're gonna add this. Okay, we're gonna add this class that represent the entity class. This will be like the name of the student. Also, I'm gonna add his date of birth. Okay. Okay, as well as we're gonna add this ID. So this is your typical entity class that you contain, like it contains the ID of the student, the name of the student, also the date of the birth. Now, if I head over to the Solution Explorer, we have created the most basic element and the first layer of our entire application. Now, the layers I'm gonna create, it's totally up to you. You can add as many layers as you need. Remember, the structure of your application has to be satisfying to your own need. If not, it will like cause problems and issues to you. Okay, now I'm gonna add my second tier, and this tier will be the business tier. So it will be also a .NET standard class library, and I'm gonna call it business. Now other call it logic, some people call it infrastructure. I'm gonna give it the name of business, where it will have all my business and all my work items. Now here I will add a folder that represent the service. When we talk about a service, we are talking about a class that will handle operation on the selected entity. Okay, so I'm gonna have this service, I'm gonna call it the student service. I'm gonna give it this public class over here. Now I wanna make my application as reusable as possible, and also I don't want to have to create my concrete implementation of the class. Actually I wanna decouple the implementation of the concrete class. To do so, I will head over to my core project. I'm gonna create a new service folder. This service folder will contain an interface. This interface will represent the student service. When we create this student service, okay, I'm gonna head over here and make this class implement this interface. Now to do so, we will need to add a reference to our core project. Now notice the nice thing of the Visual Studio, that it can add the reference for me, and also it will give me the namespace. Now here I'm gonna come down here and add this method. I'm gonna give it the name of student. This will be the return type, and I'm gonna say add, and I'm gonna add a new student. Now if I go over here, I need to implement this method, and here I can add the items that I need. Now I'm gonna just add a dummy list that contain these students, okay. I'll make this one public so I can access it, and I'll do the following. I'll add the student to the students list, and I'm gonna return the student that I've just added. Now you wonder why I do this. In case you have a database connection, as soon as you enter the student, you will have the ID updated of the student. Now we have created the two essential tiers that will do the data insertion inside the database. One will have the declaration, another one will have the implementation. The declaration inside the core, the implementation inside the business tier. Now you wonder, like, what is the point right now? Now let's say that you have this web application, and this web application is like, maybe let's say that it is a CRM for company A. Now you will have like the most basic common functionality inside the business and the core tier, and you have your web project, or let's say your WBF, or any kind of a project connected to these to save and retrieve data. But let's say that also you now have a new client, which is company B. Now for sure you don't want to work on the same code base for each or for the same company. This company might request this edit. This company might request that edit. For sure, doing all the same thing inside the same place is too much. Now, what we will do, we will have the core and the business maybe like packages, NuGet packages, or add a new project and add the reference to the core and business, and add another tier especially for the other client to have handled. You can call it maybe intermediate, which will be like a middle layer between your core and business, and it will talk to the web application. Now these are advanced scenarios that not all of the time that you will need to, but having the core and business available will make your life way easier, also your code much neater. So like imagine if you just work only on the web project and have all these entities and models and services inside the same project, it will be too much mess. It will be hard to read, hard to maintain. Also, if you want to update, upgrade, change behaviors, that will not even work. Okay. Now, I'm gonna add a new web application. I'm gonna create this application with my React. I'm gonna leave the default settings. Now, you will notice that I think I've misspelled. Let me just fix. Okay. Now, after we add this project and have it ready, let's just let it restore all the NuGet packages. Okay. Now, after we add this project, we need to reference the business layer, which will have what we will need to work with our own application. Okay. Now the application is taking too long, unfortunately, and the build has succeeded, so I think now we can work with the application. Now I'm gonna add a reference, and this will reference the business project, and if you come down here you will notice it. Okay. Now inside my startup class, since we have a nice separation between my layer and my concrete implementation, I can just simply come down here, add a new service to the items, select whatever let's say life cycle for your service. I'm gonna add the item service. Okay. Oh, I guess it's not available. Let me check why. Oh, I'm sorry. Student service. So now I need to add the using, and here you will add the student service, which will be from the business layer. And this way you can notice that we have a clean separation. You can change the student service. Maybe you have a new version of the student service. You just simply come down here, add the new student service, and so on. So as you can see, this structure is very powerful, especially for changes, for reuse in different projects. You're not limited to a single project. Now, just for this demonstration, I'll inject. Okay, I'll inject the item service, or I'm sorry, the student service Okay, I'll inject it inside here. And here what I want to do, I'll just come down here, just a simple student. I'll give it any name. Time.now, just to show you the capabilities of the service. Now also we can add the get method, but we need to change add singleton. This will, because like the life cycle of the service, I want to be able to see the students that I have created. Now here I'm gonna say list, so I can get all the students that I have. Student get all. So now we have all the students. Also what I want to do, I'll head over here, I'll implement this. Okay, now also I can add this field as a property. So let's do that actually. Okay, I want to make it as auto property of students. Notice almost no difference. Also I want to take it over to my interface. This way we have a much cleaner code, and also when we try to retrieve the data from the student service, this is the get all method, we shall be able to do so. Now I'm gonna run the application. And we're gonna add over here. Now this is a really simple problem. You just need to come down here and create a new instance, just to make sure that, okay, to make sure the item, the student list is actually there, not a null reference. Okay, oops, we did another mistakes, but like, as you notice, we can see the data over here. So let's return the students. Let's run this. And finally, we have a successfully injected the service. We can see the data. If I do another call, notice that my list is preserved. That is because I have a singleton service. The singleton service is a once per lifetime instance that will be created. So this is how you create an entire application with .NET. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe, like this video. Go to tutorialsxl.com for discounts on online training, and thank you for watching.